Mr. Crean, thank you for talking to the Warragul Citizen. What made you decide that this project was, I guess, deserving of federal funding?
Well, because it stacked up. It met the essential conditions of not just being based in Warragul, but its wider reach. It was in partnership with the state government and local government, and it was a community-driven initiative that had regard to where they wanted to take their city, where they understood the population growth that's happening here, and where they'd talked to a lot of commercial operators and had come to the view that if they improved the public amenity, then there would also be flow-on consequences of commercial development. Now, we're putting, state and federal governments are putting $25 million, and with the council, $25 million, but already we're seeing $150 million in commercial development off the back of it. So I think it's a great example of partnerships between governments, partnership effectively with the private sector, and the view that it's not just the location itself that matters, it's the reach of what the amenity does and what it services in the wider region.
You've said a lot about reach in your speech today. I guess how far-reaching do you expect this project to be?
Oh no, I think this will have enormous consequences, but it's not the only one. I mean, I'm going to Maui later today where there's a similar issue around their town development. But we're also looking very much with the Latrobe Valley Transition Committee to where the future job opportunities are, to build off the traditional strengths in energy, but understand that the energy market is changing and going more to renewables or more energy efficient operation, agriculture, food processing, forest products, all of those sorts of things. And now, of course, the education industry itself, what's happening with Monash and the Ballarat expressions of interest together, what we're doing with SAIL and the TAFE, or trying to, if the state government's reversed its cuts to TAFE funding. So I think there's a whole lot of initiatives that we can really look at sensibly, because this is a region of great opportunity, because it is such a diverse economic base in the first instance. What we've got to do is to play to those strengths, see what we can do to assist them, and this is an example where headworks by governments in terms of infrastructure generate commercial and private investment of substantial amounts.
Now, just I guess to change topic away from the subject of the day, the defined benefit superannuation scheme has caused a lot of issues for governments around the state, including Bawbaw. What can and what will the federal government be doing to help, I guess, assist councils with these millions of dollars in unexpected debts?
Well, again, I query the word unexpected. I mean, I think every council, every business that have responsibility for the superannuation has to manage those accounts properly. The contributions are the members' contributions in the main now, and their accumulation accounts. The old schemes are what every responsible authority has got to make provision for. I don't think the easy flick pass is to say someone else should contribute, but I think the councils have got a responsibility to face up to the issue themselves.
Nonetheless, the government did bail out several institutions at the GFC. Is it not appropriate to try and assist local governments?
It's a different circumstance. And who did we bail out in the GFC?
I suddenly blanked on that one.
We certainly...
There was funding.
We gave guarantees behind the banks, the insurance industry for automotive and the car industry, but not one company had to draw on it. The fact that the government was prepared to secure their future by becoming guarantor, that generated the activity. That's a different proposition, and we would step in again if the circumstances justified it to do it. But the government has got limited resources and it's got huge demands. And I think that the answer to all of these things isn't to say it's your responsibility and us say back, no, it's yours. I think there's a requirement for partnership, but in the case of the superannuation defined benefit, it was never the Commonwealth's responsibility in terms of what councils did with their own employees. That is a different argument.
Indeed. Now, in regards to your comments to the Australia Council for the Arts, you've said that regional arts funding, sorry, not regional arts, you said that arts funding is extra funding is needed for the council. I guess what's in it for regional Victoria?
Well, the expanded money for the regions. I think there's some terrific stuff happening in the regions, and Regional Arts Australia has been producing some really good stuff with its resources. Obviously, if there's more money in the cultural policy for the Australia Council, that will translate down to regional arts. But I think it's also interesting, if you look at the shed that's being relocated with our money, it has the potential to become quite a heritage precinct. It is a heritage building in its own right, but the question of the content of that building and its function is still to be determined. I think it's in the interests of this city to understand the importance of its heritage and see what it can do to reinforce that and enrich itself through the arts. I've seen many communities remake themselves through creativity and design, and the arts as a focal point, another part of the diversification. So quite apart from what we're trying to do with the National Cultural Policy, we have already invested significantly in cultural and community facilities for the arts.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.